in America, so we created one. We have a group of rabbis that are sitting down and answering those questions that come. And you can use that Bet Torah not only by calling, and it's all without mentioning your name, anonymous. You call, I have a question, this is my question. You don't have to call, you can also text, WhatsApp, email, it's available in all different ways. If you take a look at the newsletter, you'll find all the information there. Otherwise, it shouldn't be hard to find it. You can go on our website, askhalacha.com. Askhalacha.com. Or any other thing that you just Google my name, you'll find everything coming up. My name is Shai Tahan, S-H-A-Y-T-A-H-A-N, Shai Tahan, so everything will come out. So one should be able to benefit from those things. Those are only a couple of the things that we do amongst many, many other things. I just felt that it's important to share here those things. And also, that before we start, I'd like to share with you that if you have, it's an interesting thing that you could find any question, almost any question to your halachic dilemma, just by Googling my name with the question. So let's say Pesach is coming up, or Purim is coming up. Purim is not so much, you know what? By women, you ask them what's coming up, they'll tell you Pesach, not Purim. So Pesach is coming up. You want to know how to kosher your utensils. You want to know how to kosher your oven. You want to know how to kosher your food. You want to know what food to buy. So any question you have, let's say you want to know which rice is good. Do you have to buy certain rice? So you can just Google Shai Tahan rice. It'll come up. Rice Pesach come up. Oven koshering for Pesach, even without so many names. Just oven, it will come up. Might be other things with oven as well, but you'll have many, many of your questions answered. I have thousands of shiurim like that online, just by few minutes. They're not long, few minutes, 3, 4, 5 minutes, you can have your question answered with the background of the halakha. So that's something that I thought I'll share, because that's something that people could benefit if you want in Hebrew. You rather Hebrew, many people rather Hebrew, so we have in Hebrew as well. We have an app that there's a lot of the shiurim in Hebrew are there. The app is called Kolel. You can go on Torah anytime and see also everything that we have under my page. So that's something to share. Now, today's topic is every week, right? It's a weekly shiur, I understand?
Yeah.
And this weekly shiur is about Shlom Bayit. And the master for Shlom Bayit is Rabbi Vaknin, not me. So therefore, I'm not going to attempt to compete with him with his profession. But what we can do is something from a different angle, and that is talk about the halachot of Shlom Bayit. Not so much about how to have Shlom Bayit in your house, how to have harmony and peace in your house, which is a great topic. But today we'll take the topic of what is the requirement, what the obligations from each one of the couple when you get married. And why is this important? It's important, first of all, it's important because those are halachot. It's something that one must follow, just like you follow anything else in Torah, you must follow this. You just like you wouldn't eat taref, you wouldn't do something that the halakha doesn't permit you in the house as well. That's first of all. Just like you would follow the commandments of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the positive commandment, you will do a mitzvah, like for instance, you will put tefillin every day on your arm and head. Same thing, you would want to do the same mitzvah that Chachamim commanded or the Torah commanded. We'll see soon that that's nogea ben adam leishto, ben ish leisha. And we're talking about men and a woman. Both have obligations. But the reason it's so important to have this discussion is because once you start having some clue what's your obligations, so that becomes in a relationship, it structures the relationship in such a way that you don't have to feel that you're doing from him more than he is doing. Now, of course, a person needs to do as much as possible, because in a relationship it's not about doing the letter of the law. You can't just come to the relationship, okay, what am I obligated to do? That's what I'll do. The rest I'm not doing. Leave me alone. Of course not, because we're talking about a loving relationship. A loving relationship is about somebody who's doing lifnim mishurat adin, so to speak, when we talk about a Kadosh Baruch Hu, right? You don't want to do it a Kadosh Baruch Hu exactly everything what he commanded. We want to do way and beyond. So when it's a relationship between a man and a woman, you always have to try and do as much as possible for the other, and that builds a very good relationship. But it's very important to know the basics. Why it's important to know the basics? First of all, what's your obligation as a man or woman? You know that you have to do, and you're not going to feel that you're doing a favor. Many times we feel, you know what, I'm doing too much, I'm overdoing, he's not appreciating, she's not appreciating, which is a bad thing. You have to appreciate. But just the feeling that I'm overdoing some things I'm obligated to do, and I'm not overdoing by doing the obligation. That's first of all I need to know. So, and secondly, when things are not vague, when things are vague, you come into anything in the world that you come to it vague. You don't know what's yes and what's no. So when it's vague, you don't know how to approach it correctly, and it falls apart eventually. Over here, we have set of rules that some of them are from the Torah, some of them Kadosh Baruch Hu gave us, and some of them Chachamim told us. And because of that, one needs to know exactly what are those set of rules. When you come into something with exact knowledge of what is the rule here, it's a totally different ballgame. It's just like you go, for instance, you open up a business and you don't know what to do, or you get a new job. They tell you, okay, that's your job. You have to do secretary work. You come to the first day and there's nobody there to explain to you what you need to do. You try to do your best, but you feel you're in the air. You don't know if you're doing good or you're not doing good. You're doing the correct things. You're trying very hard. At the end of the day, the boss comes and tells you did everything wrong. You ruined everything. And you feel, I did so much. I worked so hard. I tried to impress. I tried to do this. Everything you did, you botched everything. It was worse. You got worse than you would if you didn't work at all. So same thing over here. So let's get to what the halachot tell us. We're reading a Rambam. You have to know that everything comes down from the Torah. Some are from the Torah, as I explained, some from the Rabbanan, come down to the Mishnayot and Gemara with a lengthy discussion in the Gemara. What are the obligations and what can one demand or expect the other to do? And it comes down all the way to the halacha in the Rambam and in the Shulchan Aruch. So let's see how the Rambam opens up this very halacha in Ilchot Ishut Perek Yud Bet, the 12th Perek. כשנושא אדם אישה בין בתולה בין בעולה בין גדולה בין קטנה אחת מישראל אחת גיורת ומשוחררת יתחייב לה ב10 דברים ויזכה ב4 דברים. When a person marries a woman, he obligates himself in 10 different things. There's obligations that a man is obligated to do in the marriage, and there are obligations that a woman is obligated to do in the marriage. How many a man is obligated when he gets married? 10 things. How many a woman is obligated? 4. 4, that's it. She gets a discount. Let's see, what are they? 10. Those are the 10. 3 מהם min haTorah. The Rambam opens up and tells us there's 3 things that are obligated min haTorah. It's the Oraita. We learned them in Parashat Mishpatim. שאירה כסותה ועונתה לא יגרע. ועם 3 אלה. What are those 3 אלה? Some learn it from that psukim, some learn it from 3 אלה. Those are שאירה, כסותה ועונתה לא יגרע. What are these? שאירה. שאירה, אלו, what's שאירה? Anybody knows? Question. What's שאירה? שאירה, I'm asking. What is שאירה? The Torah says, it's a word in the Torah. It's not Aramaic, it's not French. It's Lashon HaKodesh. What does it mean she'era? What does it mean she'er basar? She'er basar means meat. She'era elu mezonotea, which means a husband, when he gets married, you come to under the chuppah. So when we come under the chuppah, we don't even think for a second of the obligations we take upon ourselves as men. And as women as well, but we'll see. As men, which means you saw a nice cute girl, and you like her very much, and there was a connection and chemistry. Today everything is about chemistry. There was chemistry. There was fire. That's very good, this fire. But now, if they show you the bill of how much this connection and fire will cost you in the long run, it's a mortgage. Not the mortgage for the house. It's a mortgage for mezonotea. Mezonotea means you have to, it's the grocery bill. Every couple of days she goes to the grocery. So think twice before you get married. Are you willing to take upon yourself this? If you got married already, it's too late. Too late. You have this obligation whether you knew about it, you didn't know about it, they informed you. Sometimes it's better they don't inform you. Because if they don't inform you, you get married. If they inform you about all these things, you might get too scared to get married and you never make the move. But we need to know. She'era elu mezonotea. Mezonotea means you have to provide food for your wife. It's an obligation mina Torah. It's a heavy obligation because it's a constant obligation. Usually we do something we're willing to do as a one-time thing. One time, two times. We don't like to put ourselves in such a contract that we are tied up forever and ever to do something. I see all the men over here faces are down and all the women smiling. What's going on?
Nothing.
He's willing already to throw. He's looking for the tomatoes to throw at me. Not in front of your wife. It's a good setup. I have the wives to protect me when I speak about those things. So mezonotea means that you have a constant obligation for as long as you are married with your wife to bring food to the table. And there is an exact minimal amount of how much a person should be able to provide. And of course, when we're talking about the minimal, one should take that minimal and just do that and not more than that, because we said that when you get married, the whole idea of being married is to have a harmony. If you just come with the minimal, I'll do only what I'm obligated and I'll do whatever's obligated for me, it's not going to work out, because marriage is feelings, and feelings are beyond just doing what you're obligated to do. You want to provide as much as possible and beyond in order to build up the feeling, build up the relationship, build up the harmony in the house. So the first one we said is she'era. Ksuta. What does it mean, ksuta? Anybody knows Hebrew here? Ksuta.
Sorry, Rabbi, you said you were going to say there was a minimum of how much you have to provide.
Oh, so you want his business. He's like, bottom line, give me the amount. let me see. Let me see if I can afford it. We'll see. Maybe we get to it. Like, I want to try to cover up as much as we can. Ksuta. What does it mean, ksuta? Anybody knows Hebrew here? What's a ksut? Ksut means clothing. You have to provide clothing, which means a woman has to dress. It's not like men. Men has one suit, one pants. It's good to go until it rips. He can go with it for months and years. But a woman has to change clothing. So also here, a certain amount of how much and when and what. For instance, there's a mitzvah deoraita to give a woman clothing on Yom Tov, to buy clothing on Yom Tov, right? Mitzvah deoraita, the samachta bechagecha. Samachta bechagecha, the Gemara says, you can make yourself happy with what men are happy with? Food. So, ish is bebasar ve'yain. Give him wine and meat, and he's all happy. That's men.
Rabbi, does the clothing include jewelry?
Yes, so that's what it is. On, now she wants to know, does it include diamonds or just gold without diamonds? Chachamim tell us that that's men. Bebasar en simcha bebasar v'yain. But isha b'meh mesamcha. How does he make her happy? How does a man supposed to make his wife happy? Konela bigdei tziv'onim. Bigdei tziv'onim could be jewelry, could be clothing, could be all kind of things that would make her happy. There's machloket in the poskim. Does it have to be clothing, or it could be other things? Like for instance, she likes a nice flower pot for her flowers, for the Shabbat flowers, a nice vase, right? With that's what she wants. That's what's going to make her happy. Such a thing, the new book that came out. She wants to have that. Is that? Can you fulfill your mitzvah with such a thing? It has to be clothing. Pashtut, a person should buy according to what Chachamim tell us. It is clothing. Why? What really makes her, you know why? What makes a woman happy is clothing. That's it. We can't understand it. The women can understand it. For some reason, they are happy when they buy clothing. When men go to buy clothing, they're miserable. When a man goes to buy shopping in a mall, it's like, it's Gehenom. He can't last for more than a few minutes. He just runs out. Forget about the shoes, forget about the clothing. I'm good with whatever I have. So that's it. That's the way it works. But women can go shopping in the mall and enjoy their day, and they come back all happy, and they buy things and they shop for things, and that makes them happy. So therefore, there's a mitzvah to buy them bigdei tzivonim for Yom Tov. How many Yamim Tovim we have? We have 3 Yamim Tovim, but there's machloket if also other Yamim Tovim are included, because Samachta B'Chagecha is the Chagim, the Regalim, Shloshet Regalim. Does it include also Rosh Hashanah and so on? So you have over here the mitzvah of ksuta. It's a mitzvah. When you buy that jewelry, when you buy that piece of cloth for your wife on Yom Tov, whether she's happy or she's not happy, you are fulfilling a mitzvah. In other words, you run to buy the matzah for the meal, for Leil HaSeder, and you're buying and you're running and you're checking. You go to buy lulav and etrog for Sukkot, and you're checking and you spend time over that. And it is a mitzvah to do that. But don't forget, there's another mitzvah that's not less than those mitzvot, because the Torah says you are commanded to do this, and the Torah says you're commanded to do that. It's the same thing. Whether you do this or that, you fulfill a mitzvah min haTorah. So therefore, one needs to understand whether she's happy, she's not happy. It's upon you to make sure that you buy those things. That is under the obligation of ksuta. Now there's a mitzvah of onata. Onata is a marital relationship between man and a woman. And that's what the Rambam explains. שאירה אלו מזונותיה, כסותה כמשמעו, נטה לבוא אליה כדרך כל הארץ. Those are the Teoraita obligations. Before we go to the next 7, which are the Rabbanan. Any questions on that?
So it's the same thing if she just goes, buys it herself, and you pay the bill. Is that the same mitzvah? No?
So,
it
yes.
works the same way,
So
right?
there
Right?
is...
No,
It's a
I'm
good
saying
question.
If you don't go buy it personally, is the
Right.
mitzvah buying it personally yourself?
Right.
and
It's a
giving it
good
to her?
question. Good question. There's a discussion here in the poskim, and there is a machloket in the poskim, whether the obligation of the husband is to give her the money or to bring her the actual food. Mezonot mamash or kesef lemezonot. So he brings, there's a sefer over here that brings a whole list of proofs from here, from there. What is exactly the obligation? He brings over here in length. Mamash pages over that very question. Lemase, you give her the money, that's good enough. Same question is what we spoke before. You have to buy your wife a gift for Yom Tov. Yeah, but you can't go shopping. A man can go shopping. It's beyond him, especially for dress. He has no clue, right? He has to buy a dress from the mall. You go to the mall, you go... First of all, it's not sanua, it's not... And secondly, it's out of place. Well, what is he supposed to do there? Then, let's say he does all that, and he's willing to be the best husband. He walks into the dress department, and what he's supposed to do? He doesn't know size, he doesn't know colors, he doesn't know looks, he doesn't know styles. So therefore, give him the money in that some say you have to bring it yourself. So the Maise, give her the money, and that is good. Why you have to give her the money? She has her own money, or you tell her always, take whatever you want. The money, it's a joint account. Take the money. You know why, dear husband? Oh, that's personal. It's the mitzvah. He's frum. He's very frum. It's the mitzvah. It's your mitzvah, which is correct. But there's also another why, another reason. And that the reason is she can go shopping herself throughout the year. But it's not the same. It's not the same when she knows her husband got her a dress for Yom Tov. That is v'samachta b'chagecha. When you tell her buy whatever you want and she goes herself and spends the money, it's nice. But it's not the real feeling, because the real feeling a woman wants to feel is that my husband, you know what's the feeling? The feeling of a woman, this goes already to the area of Shlom Bayit. What is it? He knows it.
What?
Yeah.
Buying it online.
She can buy it online.
No,
She wants to be
he can buy it
taken care
online.
of.
She wants?
to be taken care of.
Taken care of. Everybody agrees?
Yeah.
Taken care of? You agree?
I disagree.
Disagree. So what is it? She wants to spend the money. She wants to burn money.
No, it's not about burning the money. It's about making her feel like you know her as well as she wants to be known, because that's how you build your relationship together.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You can give classes yourself. Anybody else has an idea? I'm saying the women over here should know what the feeling they should get when they're shaking their heads. They don't want to say. They want the husband to bring it out. Tell me if that is the real answer. The real answer is a woman wants to feel appreciated. She wants to feel that you're buying her a dress because you appreciate her. Showing it, buying her something is a token of appreciation. That's correct or not?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So that's what it is. It's so much so that I always bring out the Gemara in Psachim, that the Gemara says that a woman wants to feel when she gets married, she wants to feel appreciated by her in-laws. That's what the Gemara says. That's an interesting concept. She wants to be appreciated. She comes to the in-laws. So you have smart in-laws and those that are not so smart. They're not so smart. They're like, I don't have to tell you. The smart in-laws would tell her, wow, you're so good, you look so pretty, you're so smart, you're doing so much, look at how you took care of the house, wow, you did this, you did that. What do they do with that? They build her up. They build her up. When you build up your wife, you think that knocking her, some people think that knocking your wife will get you somewhere, because you knock her, so eventually she'll do what you want, she'll do the right thing, she makes mistakes, she'll correct them, but what you're doing is, you're breaking her apart. Instead of that, you have to build her up. You tell her how good she is, and if you need to correct something, you do it in a very, with 100 reps around it, you correct that, you tell her, I would love the food with the extra salt. I have that thing about salt and this. You build her up. The food is so delicious, and I would love it would be after you say you love it. You know what? After a few times you eat it and you lick your lips, then you tell her, let's try with salt. Let's see what happens with extra salt. Let's try this recipe. You don't have. Why is it running away? You had enough. Okay. Let's see what's the Rabbanan. The Rabbanan are 7. השבעה מדברי סופרים וכולם תנאי בית דין הם, האחד מהם עיקר כתובה. We go now a little bit more into practicalities of the ketuvah itself. What's a ketuvah? A ketuvah is a document that a husband writes right before he gets married with his wife. They sit on the table with the rabbi and he fills up a ketuvah, and he tells, usually a good rabbi would explain the chatan what's in the ketubah. He tells him, over here there are obligations. You are obligating yourself in 10 different things. You're getting married. You have over here a set of obligations when you're getting married. One of them is the ikar ketubah, which means you have to pay money in case, chas v'shalom, a person wants to divorce his wife. Why is that? Because Chachamim wanted that it should be hard for a husband to divorce his wife. So therefore he puts a certain amount of money as an obligation on the ketubah, and that is a protection, a certain protection on the marriage. Because if you don't have that, what do Muslims do when they don't want their wife?
They chop their head off.
Very good. He said that.
They just pronounce it and they don't.
You say, what do you do?
Just say a few words and they're done.
You say, barra, 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 talaat, Salamat. That's it.
Oh wow.
But you're right. Today in Israel, that's what they do. I have to. But that's what you do. Remember, bara, bara, bara. That's it. Bara means, you know what bara? Achutza, out, out. So that's it. Very simple. So that's the way it works. What does a Christian do when he wants to divorce his wife? Do what? Court? What do you say? A Catholic. What does he do when he wants to divorce his wife? He doesn't like his wife. What does he do? Can he say bara and she's out?
I think they go to lawyers or something.
They go to lawyers?
Go to the priest.
Go to the priest? A Catholic, as much as I know, I'm not equipped with Christianity laws, but what I know is that a Catholic can't divorce his wife.
What?
Which means when you get married, it's yours forever. Also, that's the way it is. I think. Over here again, it's not my area. Also, in Lancaster, you know, in Lancaster, Amish. When Amish gets married, it's forever. It's not forever. You can't like divorce your wife. It doesn't work like that. You can't like one day say, you know what, it didn't work out. We don't love each other.
That's how they get other ones, right?
But they have more than one wife in the Amish.
Yeah.
Big part.
Yeah, they do.
I didn't hear about that. I don't know. But again, it's not my.
No, they do.
They do. Okay. So Lemaise, those two extreme approaches don't work. Why not? Because if you have to divorce your wife over just by saying a couple of words, you know, it's very easy for you to snap one day because of any reason, and that's it. And then you're miserable. Both are miserable, including the kids are miserable, including the family's miserable. Everybody's miserable. Why? Because one day you woke up on the wrong foot.
Wait,
And-
did they get back together though?
I don't know. I'm not a professional in Islam and not Christianity. But it doesn't work also to stay married forever. You know why? Because if you know you are stuck, you can do whatever you want. You become, you know, you have immunity. This marriage can't be broken in any way, and anyone can behave the way they want because that's it. It's a done deal. The correct way is Hashem's way. How do I know? Because it's Hashem's way. And what is Hashem's way? Hashem's way is that it's hard to get divorced. It's not easy. But it's possible. So therefore, each one knows, you know, it's not like I can do whatever I want. I can't misbehave because it could cost me my marriage. And you don't want to do that. So that is what the ketubah is all about. Why do we have a ketubah? Because it makes it hard on the husband to divorce his wife. Just like that. One day he woke up, like that Muslim woke up in an angry mood, and he just wants to let her out. So they tell him, okay, you want? That's fine. 1 minute. Let's take out the ketubah. How much was your obligation? $2 million. Huh? Chavot? $2 million, and you can go your own merry way. $2 million, I don't know, I'm not sure. No, I don't know. People don't write $2 million, but maybe 200,000, maybe 20,000, even 20,000. No, it's money. It takes time to make 20,000. Some people make it easy, but some people don't. 20,000 is something you want to, let me think about it. By the time we think about it, everything is, that's something about fights between couples. People think, oh, the fighting, get divorced, get out of the marriage. And what happens? You give them that advice. 2 weeks later, they made up, they lovey-dovey, everything is good. And you come out, you know, you try to divorce, you try to break that marriage. Hello, you try to break a marriage, they're happy ever after. They had a fight. So what? People have fights, they make up, they have fights, they make up. Sometimes it's a good thing to have fights. You build up the marriage. I didn't say it's a good thing. Forget it, I'm taking it back. But some people, the fights build them up. Okay. So this is the ketubah. There's a certain amount for ketubah that Chachamim tell us. That is the minimal. And you have also something that is called tosefet ketubah. A person doesn't want to give his wife just like, you know, what am I obligated? That's it. I'm not giving her a penny more. Why? He's getting married. He's loving her. He wants to give as much as possible, whatever makes sense, not something. So therefore, he writes a certain amount. Now the Mesader Kiddushin that writes for them the Ketubah, he tells them, listen, this is the amount you're writing. When is you're gonna have to pay? In 2 times. Either Chas v'Shalom, the marriage, you want to break it apart, you're gonna have to pay her that amount. Or if Chas v'Shalom, the husband dies in his wife's lifetime, so she takes that amount of the Ketubah from whatever possessions he has. Why does she has to take? Why does she get everything? She should get everything. She's a partner. She's a spouse. Because in Judaism, the wife doesn't get the money of the husband. Who gets the money of the husband? The children. There's a din Yerusha, inheritance. Who gets the inheritance of the husband? The children. But a wife takes a nice chunk of money that belongs to her from the Ketubah, because that is what he obligated from his own possessions. He has to pay that amount. So that is called Ketubah. האחד מהם עיקר כתובה, השאר הם נקראים תנאי כתובה, ואלו הם לרפותה עם חלתה, which means obligation number 4, or number 5 now, the second Rabbanan, is לרפותה עם חלתה. You have to make sure that you provide medical medicine and medical coverage needs, whatever it is, doctors for your wife. She needs a doctor. You have to. It's your obligation. You don't tell her, go to your parents, go get yourself a city insurance, Medicaid, all kind of things. Rather, it's your obligation. She could go take, but it doesn't take away your obligation. In other words, if somebody paid for it, she was able to get the insurance, good for you. She wasn't able for some reason, the bill is yours. You have to pay that bill. At the end of the day, it's your bill. You have to. So you say, you know what? Forget about it. She'll get over it. She's sick right now. It's going to be okay. No, the rapota im chalta. If she gets sick, you have to pay medicine and medical bills, whatever it is. You have to send her to the doctor. That is the obligation. You obligate yourself in the ketubah when you get married. 1 minute. The wife shouldn't be. We'll get to the wife's obligation. It's not. It's also heavy duty. Ashar nikraim tnei ketubah. What is the next one? Lifdotayim nishvet. It used to be in olden times like it is today in New York. Crime was on the rise, and there would be kidnapping. That's what it was. So you think we got used to living in the last 20, 30 years in some kind of peaceful environment in New York, like it is a protected city, crime-free. Today we can feel a little bit how they lived back then, which means it was very common that they would kidnap the wife. They would take her, and they would want a ransom. You have to pay. They call you up. You want to get your wife back? We need this amount of money. It says here, Lifdota im nishvet. Now over here it's an interesting thing. Usually there is in the Torah takana that Chachamim make that you don't have to pay when somebody gets kidnapped. You don't have to pay more than his value. There's a value. Chachamim value it a certain amount of how much a person is worth. It's not for now. But the person doesn't need to pay more than that. Why? Because Chachamim said if you pay more than that, then what's going to happen is people are going to start kidnapping right and left because they're making a lot of money. It's a good business. So therefore you have to pay whatever it is and not more. That's the story with Rav Meir Rothenburg, the rabbi of the Rosh. He was the Gadol Ador in the time of the Rishonim. He's a Rishon. And he was taken to captivity, and they wanted money, a lot of money. And the Jewish people were willing to pay the money. Why? Because sometimes this takana, this decree of Chachamim don't apply. For instance, for a big rabbi, it doesn't apply. So therefore, they wanted to pay, but he refused. He said, no, I want to be like everybody else. I'm not, unless it's the right price, I'm staying in jail. And then he died in prison, he died in captivity, and he didn't let he didn't let the Jewish people free him. Didn't let. It's they want too much money. I'm not getting out. So over here, why am I saying this? Because over here, when we're talking about one's wife, Chachamim also tell us, many of the poskim hold, that one can pay even whatever they ask. Whatever they ask. Why? Because kol asher lo yiten ish be'ad nafsho. If they would take you, chas v'shalom, in captivity, and they would ask you, you want to get out? Take us to the bank, we want all your wealth. And you're a wealthy guy. You have a lot of money. So the Torah says, ואהבת את השם אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. What's there בכל נפשך? Chachamim tell us that if a person asks you to do something against Hashem, worship idols. You have to die and not worship idols. They tell you, bow down to the idol. Bow down to the cross. Kill me, I'm not bowing down to the cross. What does it mean, v'chol meodecha? V'chol meodecha means all your money. All your wealth. Why do you need to say, tell me all your wealth? You told me already, a person is willing to give up his life. What's the wealth? Chachamim tell us that some people, their wealth is more important to them than their life. You want to kill me? I'm willing to die. Want to take my money? No. That I'm not willing to do. And don't think it's a joke. And sometimes they come to a person to hold up. You know, hold him by gunpoint. Kill me. I'm not giving you my money. Kill me. He's willing to die. Not give up his money. So over here, that's what we're saying. There is an obligation, lifdota im nishvet. If it's your wife, just like if it would be you would give all your money to be freed from captivity. Your wife is the same. Ishto kegufo. Person needs to come on to that feeling, to work on it, to feel. Ishto kegufo. My wife is me. There's no difference. Lifdota im nishvet. Next, lekovra im meta chas v'shalom. If she dies, you don't say, that's it. Nitparka chavila. That's it. The package is now gone. She's not my wife anymore. I'm looking already for my second, third wife, fourth wife. No, can't do that. You have to first take care of her in an honorable way. Lekovra, you have to bury her. היא מתה. להיות ניזונת מן נכסיו ויושבת בביתו אחר מותו כל זמן על מנותה. We're going now into a little bit details. We'll finish with this one and there's more. But what it says here is that if chas v'shalom the husband dies, she sits in the house. Now we said all his possessions go to the Yorshim, to his children. Those are the Yorshim. Those are the people that receive all his leftover. That's the inheritance. But, and so does his house. He has a house. But she stays in the house. She lives in the house as long as she isn't married. When she gets married, she has to leave the house. That's it. When she gets remarried, she has to leave the house. But as long as she didn't leave the house, liot nizonet minechasav, she gets food from his, whatever he left over. So she goes to the grocery and she buys food from his bank account. He's not alive anymore. From his bank account. ויושבת בביתו אחר מותו כל זמן על מנותה, and it goes on and over here. Let's go to the women's obligation. ארבעה שזוכה בהם, כולם מדברי סופרים ואלה. שזוכה בהם, כולם מדברי סופרים ואלה. להיות מעשה ידיה שלו. Here's a hard one. Which means, whose money it is in marriage? It's a joint account. What do you mean? Joint account. It's an equal right. What do you mean? I have my account and he has his account. We have two accounts. Or we have a joint account. So who has the credit card? Both of us. Today, the woman has a credit card. But that's fine. She has a credit card. He doesn't have the credit card because when it's a healthy relationship, so he knows, he makes the money, she spends the money. What do you mean she spends the money? She goes, she buys groceries, she buys whatever's needed in the house. That's beautiful because you don't need, again, a man loves to make money and a woman loves to spend money. That's what it is. So a man makes the money and he gives his wife, take the money and buy whatever's needed in the house. And he trusts her. Batach balev ba'ala, it says in Eshet Chayil. Batach balev ba'ala. That's great. You give her the credit card and that's good. But in the end of the day, it's his money. It's his money. You have to realize. It's so much his money that let's say he has a certain job, and you are making much more. You're making a much bigger figure. Why? Because today women are already, they're doing so well, Baruch Hashem. They're doctors and lawyers and this and that and whatever you want, architects, and women do very well today in the work field, right? They say that today in colleges the women are doing much better than men. They're doing much better than men. And it's also intentional, but that's for a different discussion, which means they make sure that the woman should do better than men. But that's what it is. So now the woman makes more money. Who gets that money? It's his money. In the halakha, it's his money. Now there is sometimes that a woman can say, "Eini nizonet ve'eni osa," which means she can say, "You know what? I don't want your obligations. Don't give me your obligations, and I want to keep my money. I'll take all the money that I make, and you keep whatever you have to give me. Don't give me any of those things that you have to give me." Very unhealthy approach for many different reasons. It's very unhealthy. It doesn't work out. In marriage, it doesn't last. It's also not a smart approach because a woman can't guarantee that she'll be doing well for a long time. A woman gets pregnant, she gets second times pregnant, fifth times pregnant. Eventually it becomes very, very hard either for this or for that. It's much more, and as she said before, a woman wants to feel that she's being taken care of. In other words, she's willing to contribute. When a woman goes to work, she wants to feel that, I'm helping out my husband. But in the end of the day, he has to take care of me. I have to rely on him. He's my support. So that's what it is. That's the very first thing that is a heavy thing. Whatever money there is belongs to the husband.
So it's the husband's part. If the husband's not working, and she is, it's still his money.
It's still his money. It's still his money. So now, again,
That's not the situation.
I'm employed.
You're lucky.
very good. Very good. Imagine the feeling it would be that a husband has all these obligations we said before, and then a woman goes, she makes money and she keeps it for herself. He pays for their food. He pays for their health insurance. He buys her the clothing. He buys her everything. And they have money. I'm not talking the case that they have money. And she goes and she makes a certain amount of salary. And what does she do? She keeps it to herself. This is a feeling that, I'm doing for you, and you are also doing for you. So who's doing for the relationship? Who's doing for us? Who's doing for me? Where's the connection over here? Where's the give and take? When you have a structure of give and take, a person it's built in such a beautiful way that a person feels that I'm getting and I'm giving. I'm not here. A person never wants to be only a giver and being taken advantage of. At the same time, he doesn't want to be a taker. Why? You don't want to feel that you're taking and taking and taking. Now, when you have such a relationship that both are contributing to the relationship, that's beautiful. That is when we talk with money. Now, women that don't go to work still have many other ways that they can give their husband to make them feel worthy of a husband. What are they? So we're saying over here. First, under the same category, להיות מציאתה שלו, שיהיה אוכל כל פירות נכסיה בחייו, ואם מתה בחייו יירשם. And there's four things over here that it says over here. What are they? Again, we said the salary. We said מציאתה שלו, which means if she finds something in the street. Today is not so common, but it used to be. You find something, the מציאה would have a value. It says שיהיה אוכל כל פירות נכסיה בחייו, which means when they get married, listen to this. When they get married, we said you write a ketubah. What if a woman has possessions? She has houses, buildings. She has some things. She has a car. She has some things. She made it good in her life, and she inherited from her family some things, and now she has some possessions. Now she gets married to him. Who gets that? So it says in the ketubah, we write it in the ketubah, it stays her possessions, which means it's forever hers. She has, let's say, a building, so that building now is still hers. You write it on the ketubah. But who profits from the building while they are married, which means who receives the rent, the profit of the rent, right? The profit of the rent. Who receives, let's say she has a field, who receives the fruits that come out of the field, the crop, whatever money you make from it, who gets that? The husband. So that's what we're saying over here. שיהיה אוכל כל נכסיה בחייה. From her possessions, all the fruits that come out belongs to him. והיא מתה בחייה ובשנה. He gets the ירושה, that's one of the תקנות. Some say it's דאורייתא, והוא קודם לכל אדם בירושה. Now, these are basically the obligations, but I want to take you to one of the most beautiful things that the Rambam writes. We're almost done, right? Okay, so let me take you to one of the most beautiful things that the Rambam writes to say the closing point over here. And listen to these words.
Rabbi, was those 4 things that you just mentioned for the woman? That was 4?
Yes. What are they? The money that she makes belongs to you. That's what it is. The metziot, which means she finds something, it belongs to the husband. Right? Now, the possessions that she has, everything that comes out from that possessions belong to you as well. And the Yerusha. The Yerusha of the woman belongs to her husband.
What's the Yerusha?
Yerusha, the inheritance.
You said it's not the
I said the other way. The husband's inheritance goes to the children.
Oh,
The wife's-
inheritance of the wife goes to the
Right.
husband.
Yeah.
So it's all financial, that's it?
Financial. Now let's talk not financial.
Confidential.
Now let's talk not financial. I told you today it's going to be not about the...
Possessions.
Her position.
Her possession. You said her
Look at those beautiful words. Listen to these beautiful words.
The one who's doing the marriage is
Tzivu chachamim al haisha. We're talking about the wife. Says the Rambam. Tzivu chachamim al haisha. Very famous words. Every person needs to know these words by heart. Before you go to sleep, tzivu chachamim al haisha, blah, 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 blah. But these are the words that the woman needs to know. We'll see what the husband needs to know. These are the words the woman needs to know by heart. What are they? ציוו חכמים על האישה שתי צנועה בתוך ביתה, ולא תרבה שחוק בקלות ראש בפני בעלה, and so on and so forth, וכן ציוו חכמים שיהיה אדם, now towards the husband, we'll get to the wife in a second, I read the הלכה previous. וכן ציוו חכמים שיהיה אדם מכבד את אשתו יותר מגופו. A person has to respect his wife, it's ציוו חכמים, which means a commandment, it's not a nice thing to do, voluntarily, you'd want to do it, you do it. No, ציוו חכמים, you're obligated. What is it? שאדם מכבד את אשתו יותר מגופו. You have to respect your wife more than you respect yourself. Now, why is that? Why is that? Person wants to feel respected, me. Because, as I told you before, a woman must feel appreciated. Must feel appreciated. That's the line that goes through a woman's head is about being appreciated. She comes home, she wakes up in the morning, she does whatever she does in order that her husband should appreciate her. So therefore, she wakes up, she takes care of the kids, she takes care of the house. What's running in the back of her mind? Even unconsciously, she doesn't have to think about it consciously. It is that my husband should appreciate what I'm doing. And if he doesn't notice, he didn't notice I took care of the kids, look how nicely they're dressed, you didn't notice that I cleaned the house. Oh, the food was good. No, you didn't notice that the food was cooked. Why is that? Because that's what she has in the back of her mind always, that you should appreciate her. So therefore, he needs to be mechabda yoter migufo. He needs to appreciate her more than he appreciates himself. Honor her more than he honors himself. Honoring is tolada. It comes out from appreciation. When you appreciate something, you honor him. Oava kegufo. Oava already. Love her like you love yourself. Why? Because a person loves himself. I can't even tell you. A person loves himself. Is in love with himself. Every person is in love with himself. Some people, they hate themselves. But those that love themselves, they're in love. They're mamish, like, it's all about themselves. You can't love somebody else more than you love yourself. So Chachamim knew that. They thought, okay, please love your wife like you love yourself. That's the maximum. No, we're not going to ask you to do more than that because you're not going to be able to do it. So Ava kegufo. V'im yesh lo mamon, we said before, you have to, there's a certain amount that you have to spend for food, for clothing, for this, for that. But אם יש לו ממון, if you have extra money, מרבה בטובתו כפי ממונו, you spend. Why do you think you have money? Why do you think you have money? ולאברהם היטיב בעבורה. חכמים tell us the money was there because of Sarah, his wife. חכמים tell us that if a person appreciates his wife, the money, all of a sudden he has money. All of a sudden הקדוש ברוך הוא sends him ברכה. Did you know that? חכמים tell us that in פרק הזהב, in במציע, that לאברהם היטיב בעבורה. אין נכסיו של אדם מתרבים אלא בעבור אשתו. And you honor your wife, you spend money for your wife. In other words, you מטיבה, מטיב, it says over here, מרבה בטובתה כפי ממונו. A person thinks, oh, my wife spends money, I give her money, she blows the money. You gotta know, the source that the money, you get the money is through your wife, she's the pipe. So if you don't, she blows the money, in the end of the day, you went to work, but the Kadosh Baruch Hu send you beracha and job. Why did you make money? You know how many people don't make money? Should tell you how many people that don't make money. They work very hard, harder than you. So why you make money and they don't make money? So Chachamim tell us, go see if they respect their wife. If they don't respect their wife, HaKadosh Baruch Hu closes the faucet, and that's it. You can work from day till night. So what a person does, he says, no, I'm not giving you that. You want to spend so much money, haram, it's too much. Save the money. Now, sometimes I'm not saying that's the approach should be Allah. Okay? I'm not saying that. It's got to be but at least you got to know that the bracha is, you got to know that the way you treat your wife, that's the Arizal says, the way you treat your wife, that's the way the wife feels towards you, that's the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu feels towards you as well. If you want to know if HaKadosh Baruch Hu is happy with you, see if your wife's happy with you. That's the way it is. Why? Because Ishto is the Shekhinah in the house. So now it says over here, yesh lo mamon, מרבה בטובתה כפי ממונו. Yeah, it doesn't mean you have to get spoiled and you have to blow the money but מרבה בטובתה כפי ממונו means, you know, the certain thing that's needed, don't be stingy. If you have money, if you don't have money, it's a different story. ולא יטיל עליה אימה יתרה. A person should not put fear in the house. It's a Yisur. It's a Yisur that's written over here in the Rambam. You're not allowed to cause fear in the house. You have to speak to her with gentle. Why? A woman right away. It's not your friend. When you sit with your friend and you knock him and you tell him things, nothing happens. He's rough, just like you. He'll knock you right back. If you speak to him calmly, he's not going to feel comfortable. So men sit down with each other and they knock one the other and they pinch one the other and they throw comments one on the other and it's fun and it's good. Okay. But you can't do that to your wife. Why? Any words you're saying hurts very much. It gets right to the core. The person comes home, he can be unhappy. Why? When you come with a sad face home, you know why you have a sad face? You had a bad business deal. Yeah, that's you come home, you're upset. You can't do that when you come home. You know why? When a woman sees your face sad, upset, she takes it personally. What did I do? Hello, it's not you. It's logically she knows it's not her. She knows you made a bad deal and you didn't make it today. But inside, she feels it's her. That's the way it is. That's the psychology. Men can't understand it, but that's the way it is. That's the men side of the coin. What's a woman? A woman must respect her husband ביותר. Very much. ביותר מדי. והיא עליו מורה ממנו, she has to fear her husband. ותעשה כל מעשה על פיו. She has to do everything that he says. Imagine everything that he says. יהיה בעיניה כמו שר או מלך. He should be in her eyes like a minister and a king. Ooh. Who gains from this approach? The man or the woman? The woman. You know what's wrong with our generation? The woman treats her husband like a shmata, and therefore she becomes a shmata. That's the way it is. When a woman knows, what does a man want? We said what a woman wants. What does a man want? A man wants a wife that should be gentle and appreciate him and love him and do and not be demanding and commending and such a thing. when a man marries such a woman, he's willing to do everything for her. He's giving everything to such a woman. What happens today? Today the Western society says, you have rights as a woman. Don't do what he says. Man, what is this? You can divorce him and he's going to have to pay you forever child support and alimony and this and take his house away and you're going to put him in jail 20 times and this and that. Who loses from this approach? Who loses from this thing? You know who loses? The woman. Because a few things. First of all, the good men today, not in Jewish crowds, but in the Goyish crowd, men don't want to get married anymore. They can't find. Where's the good men? The good men are not getting married. You want a bad man? You'll find. You want a good man? They're not getting married. Why? They know. Before they get married, everything's available to them. They can have the best time. They get married, they get tied up, and then they get abused and harassed. So they're not getting married. That's the way it is. And if they got married already, and she was able to divorce and get out, who has a harder time getting married, a woman or a man? A man can get 20 times married. It's a man's world in the end of the day. He can get 20 times divorced and married and he'll still find a 21 wife. He's still fine. That's the way it is. And a woman after one marriage is broken up. That's it. She's devastated. She can't go to shidduchim anymore. If she goes already to shidduchim, it becomes so hard to find shidduchim. And she has 3 children or 5 children. Yeah, she's not getting married. So this approach over here of that's a guarantee for the wife to stay married. This tape goes on the internet. I'm in trouble. You got to know these words over here. But I'm reading your Rambam. It's not my words. מהלכת בתאוות ליבו ומרחקת כל מה שישנא. It's beautiful. Obviously, when I say it with much more geschmack. But מהלכת בתאוות ליבו ומרחקת כל מה שישנא. I don't need to add anything over here. It's beautiful. The words are beautiful. וזה, the Rambam concludes, זה דרך בנות ישראל הקדושים והטהורים בזיווגם ובדרכים אלו יהיו שובם נאה ומשובח. The Rambam guarantees you, if you do that, whatever we spoke today, you have marriage warranty. You want to buy a marriage warranty? Marriage warranty. You have life insurance, you have house insurance. 5 times?
Lifetime warranty.
Huh?
It's a lifetime.
Lifetime warranty. It's called marriage warranty. You do what the Rambam says over here, practices, you'll see you are going to stay happily ever married. It says over here, בדרכים אלו יהיה יישובם נאה ומשובח, חזק וברוך. Thank you.
Wow.